An age-old question is, what do I insulate my van with? Well, this week we're gonna help you try and figure that out. And as I'm sure you already know, there's a lot more to it than what's easy and affordable. There's things to consider like R value, condensation and moisture, durability, rigidity, the time it takes to install, and of course, the expense. Here are some of the different types of insulation you might already be looking at. There's spray foam, rigid board, fiberglass, thinsulate, rock wool, and also Reflectix. But first, I'm gonna spoil the end of the video and let you know what we chose in our van. Spray foam. And no, this isn't our van, but we did do the entire van with spray foam just like it. The van spray foam looks like this. The reason we went with spray foam is because of its R value, its durability, and its rigidity. With spray foam, it seals up every crack and crevice very nicely. And with every inch of spray foam that you use, you get an R value of roughly 8, which is pretty high. And the last thing is that spray foam creates its own moisture barrier. And as I mentioned, this isn't our van, but this is our tiny home we're building that we completely spray foamed as an insulation, floor, ceiling, and walls. And it's gonna be really cozy in here in these Canadian winters. You can find out more at our Instagram page linked below. Okay, so back to the van spray foam. There is always a concern with any insulation with toxicity, and spray foam is up there. The other thing is that spray foam is super expensive, especially in 2023, costs have really gone up. Now, one concern that you should really keep in mind if you do go the spray foam route, which we highly recommend, it is a good investment for a full-time van lifer, is that you get a professional spray foam company to do your van. The reason is you can get those DIY kits, but if you don't know what you're doing and you're applying the spray foam on, it does go on in a good amount of pressure where it can bow out your panels and actually damage the panels of your van. So a good idea is to get a professional to do it, and it really is a good investment. Okay, with that being said, let's take a look at different options of insulation for your van. Rigid board is a good option and has a R value of 5 per inch. The only problems with rigid board is it's hard to cut and to reach into tight spaces of your van. It also can hold moisture behind the panels, and also as temperatures really decrease, the rigid board's R value decreases with it, so it's not a super insulate. Fiberglass, we wouldn't really recommend fiberglass at all. It really holds moisture and can lead to mold, and has an R value of 3.2 per inch. Rock wool is a good substitute for rigid board. The only problem with it is that it does release fibers and become itchy, but it is good because it doesn't retain moisture at all. It has an R value of 3 per inch. Thinsulate doesn't retain any moisture at all. It doesn't release any fibers and is a really good option for stuffing into the hard reach crevices of your van. The only problem with it is fairly expensive for a conventional means of insulating, and has an R value of 3.3 per inch. The last one I'm gonna mention is Reflectix, and this one is so popular in van life, mostly because it is fairly cheap. The problem with it is a horrible insulator for van life. It only has an R value of 1 per inch, and you have to add layers and layers and layers to get that 1 inch. The thing that you should do with Reflectix is add it in combination with your main insulator. Use it for your window covers, that sort of thing. You'll get a lot more bang for your buck that way. Now, of course, there is other options out there to work with, like natural wools or denim fiber, that sort of thing. I'm not going to mention them here though, because I haven't actually worked with them in person, so I can't recommend them. Okay, so to summarize what you should use as an insulator in your van, you know what I'm gonna say, invest in spray foam. It makes a drastic difference in insulating your van, especially if you plan on living it full time. Now, if you don't wanna pay that sort of money for spray foaming, the next best thing that we would recommend, in our opinion, is either rock wool or thinsulate. Now, I'm also curious if you guys could comment below and let me know if you're using something else to, insulate your van. Maybe you came up with a really good and cheap way to insulate it. Make sure you comment below. I'm really curious to find out. Until next time, safe travels. See you later.